we have on the line someone I actually saw perform with Miles Davis, and Miles held up a sign to identify him. He's holding up signs rather than speaking who the soloist was. We have NEA Jazz Master Kenny Garrett on the line right now. Kenny, welcome to WPFW.
Oh, thank you, Rusty.
Yeah, I saw you at DAR Constitution Hall with Miles, and had my daughter with me, and Miles held up that sign with your name on it. I'll never forget that. So tell us, before we get into your gig up at Kingstone, tell us a little bit of how you got into the music to begin with, and what started you playing the saxophone in the genre we call jazz.
Well, my stepfather played saxophone, and I used to listen to him practice. But I used to sit by him practicing saxophone, but I didn't listen because of the saxophone. I like to smell in the case.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I would just sit by the case and I would listen. And then eventually he got me like a plastic saxophone for Christmas, and I started, act like I was playing the saxophone in the house. And then he got me a real saxophone that had a bullet hole, had been soldered. And I started, he taught me the G scale, and then he sent me to music school.
Wow.
That was the start of it. But I love the music. I've always loved the music because as a kid growing up, once I got into jazz, I started, actually it was just all the genres. I was like my 45 and 78. So during Thanksgiving, I would take all the music that filled my heart and spirit up, and I would put that away until Christmas Day, and I would take it all out and I would play it, and that would hold me until the next year. And I played through that. So I've always had a love for music, and a lot of my father's heroes, like people like Stanley Turrentine and Joe Henderson, and Marcel Parker, those kind of people. They became my heroes, and so that's how I got started.
Wow. And where did you grow up? Was it Philly?
No, I actually am from Detroit.
Oh, okay. That's right. You are from Detroit.
Yeah, from Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, because one of my mentors was the late, great Marcus Belgrade.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I saw Marcus actually performed at Jerry Allen's senior recital at Howard University. I'll never forget that. So, I got to meet him at that time, and then, of course, hear him playing at other times.
Yeah, well, he was the pillar of the community, so many musicians who came out of there. Of course, James Carter, Rodney Whitaker, Bob Hurst, just to name a couple of people. But Marcus was very instrumental, actually, in my development.
Well, that's fantastic. So, you were actually a jazz messenger at one point. How did you hook up with Art Blakey? What was that connection there?
Well, actually, I was roommates with Mulgrew Miller. I was kind of connected with we call it the Memphis connection.
Sure, okay.
So it was, Mulgrew Miller, James Williams, Donald Brown, and because when I first joined the Ellington band, I met Mulgrew. So when I was making the transition from playing the Ellington band, coming to New York, he said I could stay there. At this apartment. He had an apartment, and so me and Tony and Mulgrew came in, and so. Basically, I heard, I used to go down and listen to Art Blakey, but I heard he was auditioning the musicians, and so I went down and auditioned, and Wallace Roney's another musician, went down, and auditioned for the band. So I'm also, because Wint was upcoming musician, and we were all inspired by, his presence, we wanted to be in that band after him,
Boy, I'm sure Art Blakey, he kind of adopted me coming to play in D.C. in the mid-'70s. I interviewed him. He was in the studio. We had a musical autobiography, and he was playing at this club. And after it was over with, it was John Hicks with him, Bill Hardman, and Dave Schnitter. And he's packing up the station wagon, and he's taking down the drums. Hey, Rusty, we're going to get something to eat. This is D.C. back in the 70s. So I said, my house is on your way home. I'll fix you up, And he's driving out of town following me, and I had him come in, and he was not observant. He delved into the ham that my wife had made for Sunday dinner, but we were friends ever since. Whenever he came to D.C., we would hang out together, and it's such a special connection. So you did you go directly from Boo to Miles? How'd that come about?
Yeah, well, it's a great tenor player by the name of Gary Thomas, who actually we were auditioning for a French movie. And he told me that Miles was looking for an alto player and asked me if I was interested. I said, of course I was. So he gave me the number, and I called Miles. And Miles' valet picked up the phone and said Miles wasn't there. Then a little later, he called back. But, of course, you know the story. Everybody used to pretend like they were Miles.
Sure,
so,
of course. You didn't think it was him, right?
Yeah. The Moger used to pretend like he was Miles. I was like, oh, Moger's playing around. And then eventually, I said, well, it's kind of clear here. And then he told me to send him some music. So I sent him some music, you know, that I was doing. You know, some stuff I was doing, Art Blakey and OTV, Out of the Blue, my own music I was working on. And that was kind of the start of it. You know, and I played a couple of gigs because I was playing Art Blakey at that time. And he said, you know, well, you go ahead, you might learn something, you know.
Oh, man, you know, you've talked about so many friends of mine, you know, Mogul Miller, man, he was just such a beautiful guy. I just, it's the cats that we miss, you know.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, that was my roommate for the longest. I mean, you know, it's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think about him because, you know, he taught me so much, you know, about the music and hanging. Because, I mean, he played with Woody. That's how I was introduced to Woody. Played with Benny Carter. So, in some ways, I was kind of following in his footsteps, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what was it then in terms of establishing your own career? In terms of you know, you had a name with Miles. You know, you're getting established. But what was it like getting your own groups together and getting started with your own recordings and your own sessions?
Well, I always had my own group. When I was playing, there was a period when I was playing with 5 different bands. I was playing my own band, OTB, Art Blakey, Freddie Hubbard, and Woody Shaw. So I've always had my own band.
Boy.
But after the tenure with Miles, I just continued to, you know, try to carve my own way because Herbie had told me a story. You know, he said, whatever you decide to play first, that's kind of what they know you for. And so I ended up, I had done a record like introducing Kenny Garrett in like 84, came out in 85. So I was always a leader, you know, even though I was playing with the elders. I just wanted to get my lesson. You know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, what was it like and how were you notified that you were honored to be an NEA Jazz Master?
Well, that's a funny one because they had to track me down. Because they called me my number that I used in Europe, so I know they had to track me down. But the lady had called and she said, "Is this Kenny Garrett?" I said, "This is Kenny Garrett." I'm thinking, well, who has this number that I didn't give to? You know,
right.
She said, "I'm from the NEA," and I mean, I'm not really believing. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're sure. So she said, yeah, well, you know, we would like to honor you with this NEA award. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. You couldn't find anybody else, huh?
Wow.
Well, it was a joking because I was thinking, wow, because I mean, when you think of awards like that, you think of people who've been around for a long time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so I was thinking, well, I guess they must have run out of the elders. But of course, I was receptive to receiving it. You know, it was an honor. You know,
absolutely. Oh no, it was awesome. It was really a pleasure to see your performances. Also, I've seen you at the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival. I'm so glad you were able to perform at that festival that Paul Carr puts on every year.
That was a great time. You know, it's always great. You know, to come to Baltimore. You know, I actually came once for the Left Bank Society. I was playing with the Ellington band, but after that, I never experienced it. But it was a community of you know, the people. I mean, they really knew the music. You know, it kind of reminded me of Detroit. You know,
sure, no,
and I kind of missed that. But with Paul Carr saying, I kind of felt like that, like the people were there supporting. You know.
Absolutely. No, the Left Bank was a real institution. They kept that going for years, and it's great to see a lot of recordings coming out from sessions because they recorded it with the permission of the artist, and later on, you know, various companies have worked out ways of getting material legitimately released, and so the history of the Left Bank in Baltimore is really, you know, well established. And, of course, something from there is really important. So tell us about, speaking of Baltimore, your performance at Keystone Corner coming up this weekend. What will be happening? Well, we're going to be playing the music from Sounds from the Ancestors, and we'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're looking, you know, we always have fun at Keystone. We're looking for, you know, the people come out and then, you know, we take them on a journey. We're going to play some good music for them. So, who will be working with you? Folks that are on the recording with you?
No, actually, this will be a little different. We have Rudy Bird, who plays percussion. We work together with Miles Davis, and we work with Michael Jackson.
Sure.
Melvin Sant is going to be the vocalist.
Okay.
Jeremiah Edwards will be on the bass. Keith Brown, who will be playing piano, and Michael O'Day will be on drums.
Okay. Fantastic.
So young guys, but they bring some fire.
Yeah, Todd Barkin's been really doing it with Keystone up there in Baltimore. He's really took a chance, and it's worked out so well. And again, a fellow NEA jazz master.
That's right.
It's been
he put a lot of work in. I mean, because we actually were there when they opened. I think Ron Carter played for a couple of days.
Right.
And we played the weekend. So
we did an interview around that time, about 4 years ago. We did a phone interview for that. That is up on YouTube, in fact, about 4 or 5 minute interview. In any case, this one has been a real treat, Kenny. It's been a real delight to talk with you. I got your recording Sounds from the Ancestors queued up, and we'll hear that and maybe go back to Do Your Dance also in this next set. But it's been a delight talking with you, and again, holler at Todd for me. I haven't been up there in a while. Had a few health issues keep me driving up and down the parkway, but I'm going to be up there soon.
Okay. And well.
And thanks for like I said, born when Charlie Parker recorded Now's the Time, so putting some years on me. But thanks again, Kenny Garrett. It's been a delight again. As we hear Sounds from the Ancestors, we're going to fill up Keystone Corner up in Baltimore this weekend. Thanks again.
Well, thank you.
Okay, you got it. Later.
Okay.